After spending all summer thinking about losing Game 7 on their home court to the Minnesota Timberwolves, the Nuggets finally had their chance to put that game behind them. Unfortunately, their opponent was the Oklahoma City Thunder, who might just be the best team in the Western Conference. It certainly looked that way, with SGA and Chet looking like true superstars. The Nuggets, meanwhile, couldn't buy an outside shot, shooting an abysmal 7 of 38 from behind the arc, or 18.4%. And outside of Nikola Jokic, struggled to find any sort of consistency on that end of the floor. The game started on a positive note for Denver, with Jokic knocking down his first three-point attempt of the season. The Nuggets would get out to an early lead by forcing turnovers and running in transition. But it's when they had to run offense in the half court that they really struggled. The Thunder were sending constant double teams at Jokic in the post, and with the loss of KCP, the Nuggets now have two non-shooters in their starting lineup with Aaron Gordon and Christian Braun. They try and enter it to Jokic as he seals Chet, but the help comes from Gordon's man on the baseline. AG needs to flash to the middle here, so his man has to guard him, and then he and Joker can play the high-low game. On this one, Jokic makes an amazing cross-court pass, looking at Murray while snapping it right on the money to Brown in the corner. But this is ultimately what OKC wants, as Isaiah Joe doesn't even rotate to close out on Brown. And it's the same exact play later in the second quarter. Jokic makes an even more impressive pass, but Brown isn't able to capitalize once again. A possible adjustment to this issue would be to put MPJ or Jamal in the corner on these Jokic post-ups and put Brown on the wing so he can make a basket cut when his guy helps. Like here, Jokic is in semi-transition and walks into his post-up. Brown makes a great cut this time and Jokic finds him for the layup. Joker gets the switch on the smaller Isaiah Joe here, so Chet goes to double, and again, OKC will live with that shot. I really have no idea what the Nuggets are going to do because they literally have no shooters except Jamal and MPJ. Just take a look at this lineup that was on the floor for them. Russell Westbrook, career 30% three-point shooter. Peyton Watson, 30%. Julian Strawther, 29%. It's okay to have one non-shooter in Gordon since he's a great lob threat, but when you start to have lineups with 2 to 3 non-shooters, it gets pretty much impossible to create efficient offense, even with Nikola Jokic. And when I thought it couldn't get any worse than that, Mike Malone threw out that same lineup that I just showed, but with Aaron Gordon instead of MPJ. I'm not even saying this is on Coach Malone because they literally don't have any other options. And when Jokic went to the bench, their offense was pretty much unwatchable. Murray already struggles to get by defenders and relies a lot on his tough shot making, so the lack of spacing just made it even harder for him to create efficient shots. The Nuggets try to run a high pick and roll here with Murray and Sarge. Murray makes the right read, but the Thunder are purposely giving that up like I said before. Westbrook and Peyton Watson shot a combined 10 threes in a combined 36 minutes of action. That's just insane from two 30% shooters. This utter lack of spacing forces Murray to take these kinds of shots, which are just really tough to make on a consistent basis. Really, the only time that the Nuggets would go on runs is when they turn their defense into offense for easy transition points. Or when Jokic would make an absurd no-look pass like he did here to Brown, who snuck behind SGA. The Thunder trap Jokic here, and Brown's man slides down to take away Gordon in the dunker. And instead of shooting the three, Brown does a great job of attacking the open space and using his athleticism for the finish. This is the closest the Nuggets would come though, as OKC dominated the rest of the way, led by SGA and Chet. Shea was getting to his spots all night, whether it was his slithery attacks to the basket or his shoulder bump midi. Denver had no answer for him. He's got Brown on him here and attacks his hip before taking the bump and nailing the jumper. Shea would finish with 28 points, 7 boards, and 8 assists, while also racking up 5 stocks. But it was his teammate, Chet Holmgren, that stole the show. Chet would stuff the stat sheet with 24 points, 14 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals, and 4 blocks, just completely dominating the game on both ends of the floor. Chet is very comfortable handling the ball and initiating the offense. He can attack off the dribble and uses height and length to finish around the basket. Like here, he takes MPJ off the dribble and finishes the and one. He can play as the 5-man and be a screener, but he can also play on the arc and be a ball handler, which gives OKC so much versatility on what they can do offensively. And this versatility will also be huge for when Hartenstein is healthy and playing the 5 alongside Chet. Chet can finish at the rim or stop in the mid-range area and hit the jumper off pick and rolls. I was really impressed with his passing vision though, as he attacks off the closeout and drops the dime to Lou Dort. This time he hits Dort out of the short roll. He seems to process reads very quickly and has elite vision, especially for a 7-footer. The scary part is, I think his defense is actually better than his offense. Obviously it helped that Denver lacked spacing like we talked about before, but Chet was a complete monster protecting the rim down low. MPJ tried testing him a couple times at the rim, but Chet was always right there to meet him. This sequence was probably the play of the game. Chet blocks Jokic's shot on one end, and then runs the floor in transition for the monster slam on the other. Just very, very elite stuff from the 22-year-old. To sum it up, Jokic was still Jokic and finished with a triple-double and some absolutely absurd passes, but Denver's lack of spacing this year will definitely limit what he's fully capable of. If the Nuggets want to keep this roster, Jokic will have to become a volume scorer, and they'll have to get out and run in transition as much as possible, especially when Russ is on the floor. But in my opinion, I think they definitely need to make a trade for another shooter as soon as possible. As for OKC, they look scary good, and I didn't even mention guys like J-Dub, Caruso, and Aaron Wiggins, who are all capable ball handlers, shooters, and defenders. They're actually a lot like the Celtics, where they have about 6 guys who are all capable of handling the ball, shooting, and defending. And Isaiah Hartenstein didn't even play. He'll solve a lot of their rebounding issues, along with being another high IQ player. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, as I will be posting more in-depth game breakdowns almost every day of the NBA season. And as always, thanks for watching and have a great day.